All right, here we are, episode 6. You got
episode 6
Here
of
we
the
go.
most
Unpredictable
life.
There you go. That was a good little mix.
There you go.
Yeah, you're still like taller than me. Somehow.
Well,
you moved your chair up again, I think.
You're going to always look up to me the rest of your life.
Probably. Well, you are my elder. So.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You're supposed to. But no, yeah. So, I'm Jeremy Lewis.
I'm Terry Lewis, and we're not related.
No, well, like I said, you always got to say that. You always got to point that out.
Well, I just...
You don't know. You just don't know.
I just don't want your whole family to think that there was a secret brother.
Well, there might be. You never know.
Oh, okay, all right.
You know, who knows? Maybe you're my father. No.
Jeremy,
yeah.
I am your father. No, I'm not old enough to be your father. Don't put me in a classification.
No, that's all right. But yeah, so here we are, episode 6.
Yeah.
And we just got done playing some pickleball.
We played outdoors in your cul-de-sac.
We did. We played out there.
And you striped it like back in April. It's due to be striped again.
Yeah, I keep telling myself, well, I tried a couple different tapes this year, and they just didn't work out. The first tape was expensive, and then it rained like right afterwards.
Yeah.
And it came right up. And so that was supposed to be like this nice, fancy reflective asphalt tape. It didn't work.
Well,
so I need
know.
to paint it. I need to get out there and paint it.
You're calling shots out, and you're way over on the other side of the court.
No, I don't even.
And you got no business.
I don't even call shots anymore. I pretty much if it's right in front of me and around my area of my team, I do it. But no, that's you.
Okay, we have weather outside that is the most unusual thing maybe I've seen in a long time.
I will tell you what, the weather today, the air quality today makes me really want to travel to Canada. I'm like, man.
Yeah, well, now tell everybody why we have terrible air quality.
Because we have this fresh Canada air flowing down here.
No. There is
I was like, man, if
this
is how Canada is, I see why everybody thinks Canada is so great.
This is wildfires in Canada, and the winds are coming down, and they're saying you shouldn't be outside.
Yep.
And yet we decided to play outdoor.
It wasn't that bad. I've been in a lot worse.
You could have booked indoor pickleball courts, but you didn't.
No, I tried. I mean, I did try. I did.
Everybody else saw the weather.
Everybody was smarter than me.
One guy playing with a mask on.
But our guys, we usually want. Yeah, we had a guy in an N95 mask or something.
And it was still 80-some degrees.
Time. Yeah, I was surprised.
Good for him.
Yeah, I guess.
When have you had to survive like days on end, weeks on end with that much smoke?
Oh, well, it's smoke and dust probably, right? I mean, OIF 1, if you go back and you look at the history, you'll see this massive...
No one knows what these letters mean. What are you...
Oh, if you're...
This is all Army talk.
Are you American or what? I mean,
I'm American.
Then OIF 1 is Operation Iraqi Freedom. Freedom!
Why didn't you just say that?
Yeah, well, because it's OIF. That's what you say. I mean, most people know OIF.
That's what you say.
OEF, maybe.
No.
Yeah, so Operation Iraqi Freedom 1. That was the invasion into Iraq. And so right there during the invasion... We got hit with a massive sandstorm, and not only that, it had a ton of like black smoke and soot in it from because he did set some stuff on fire, not like he did during the Gulf War, the original Gulf War, but I got some video of some of the massive fires that he had set. He had dug up ravines and filled it with oil around, and he'd catch it on fire. But so those were. I mean, the one day it was 4:30 in the afternoon. We'll talk about that when we get there. But
I've been
in some bad stuff. Afghanistan's air quality every day up in Kabul and Bagram and that. I mean, any of those, it's always real bad.
Well, yeah. Well, I've only experienced it doing mission trips in Honduras, and they burn everything. They burn all their trash.
That's exactly what happens.
So it's just all around.
Burn pits.
Yeah.
That's why when people said they wouldn't want to play, I sent that picture. I sent a picture of me showing me stirring some poo. From
steering poo?
Yeah, steering some poo. That's a whole nother story, though. That's a whole nother year.
All right,
so
we'll get to that. We'll get there. But we did have one guy playing pickleball today who's an agricultural expert. He's a consultant for farmers. And he was thrilled with this. Yeah. Smoke in the air. And I said,
Chuck Reynolds Consulting.
Yeah, right? That's right. Using last names again.
Well, I mean, it's Reynolds. He's got a whole business, Reynolds Consulting.
But he said something
he may not want to be affiliated.
I had never heard of before.
What's
he
that?
said... There's sulfur in the air because of the smoke, and when it rains, that sulfur is going to land on all the crops, and they love it. They need it. And he said, Last time we had this, we had coal-burning power plants, but now we don't do that anymore.
Well, I think that's why they say, like, around the volcanoes and stuff, right? It's the best soil. You grow the best beans, the best food. Yeah, like that black, rich, nutrient-rich soil that you get around the volcanoes for good coffee and things.
All right.
Yeah, so I guess we'll have better corn this year.
Oh, Canada. We love you, Canada. Keep your smoke to yourself.
Canada.
Yes. Okay, what else is going on this weekend? We're approaching the weekend. It's Friday.
I don't have a whole lot, actually, but I know you're getting ready to go on a trip.
We are. It's the big every other summer Lewis family vacation. We now have 16 of us with the 17th in the hopper.
Oh.
And yes, now there's
going to be 17 Lewises up in Put-in Bay.
Yes. Yeah.
Man, my brother, actually one of them said he thought about going up this week. And I was like, yeah.
We get 3 cabins, and not everybody wants to take a car over to the island because it's expensive.
Yeah.
So they're all planning on putting everything, their bicycles, their food, their strollers, their
everything,
playpens, everything in my little half-size truck. So we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how that works out for you.
Any listener comments yet?
We've had a little bit, not a lot, but we did have on the snowman, the burning snowman, because that one's been released. So I don't, because I couldn't remember who all the infiltration crew that actually went up, right?
Okay.
And the word on the street, and I know there was Jeremy. I think there was a guy named I just drew a blank, but Schromick.
Okay.
And I forgot about Schromick, but I guess he was possibly one of the main arsonists on that. So,
okay.
That's the rumor out there.
Was there any of your friends who said it didn't go down that way at all?
Oh, no. Everybody knows that went down that way.
Oh, yeah. You're not Lewising a story.
Oh, I'm not Lewising this story. I'm telling you. All right. Hey, anybody that was there that saw the snowman, right?
Yes.
I always claimed, right? I helped plan the operation, right? I asked for people to do the diversion, right? I did not come up with the idea to burn the snowman.
Yeah, okay.
I've never claimed that I came up with that. And then they did their duty. They did a great job.
Man, your first military.
Yeah. Now, at the end of it, when we were all sitting there, I mean, there was probably, I think there were like 10 or 15 of us. When we got called in to the school, I did receive the blank. Like somebody must have turned me in though, because I don't know how he got that. Jeremy, you were the commander. Who are the lieutenants? I mean, that was his exact phrase. And so somebody must have turned me. Yeah. Somebody must have ratted me out. But yeah. And then I do remember it was. I'm pretty sure I don't want to use last names, but it was Mike. I think it was Mike from First South. I think who said who like helped me out. He backed up and he said, "Whoa. It wasn't all Jeremy." And so yeah. But anyways, yeah, it went that way. It went down.
So all that to say is, if you've got similar stories, you want us to go further on a story, anything at all. You got to leave us some comments. Leave us some notes, and we'll have the mailbag. We'll comment them on the next episode.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go back to last episode 5.
Episode 5.
And the DeLorean took us to 2001, but only the first 8 months.
Yeah, because, it's going to be like that. There's going to be some years where, there's just a lot going on. And 2001 was a big year for both of us, right? Yeah. And we kind of talked about that. So
anything else that you missed that you wanted to tell about January through August?
No, I don't think. I mean,
you had a first assignment in Savannah, Georgia, Fort Stewart. You had a new city. You had a new house with a bunch of guys, and you met this sea turtle girl.
Yep, met Lori on the sea turtle. So she was going out. I mean, before 9/11, Lori and I would travel down, or I would travel down to visit her pretty often. I kind of talked about that. She was out on Sapelo Island. She didn't have a phone or anything. Actually, I think I went and got her a cell phone, if I recall.
Is that right?
Yep. Lori always talks about. She's like, yeah, it was very. It was kind of crazy because we met in beginning of July. We hung out at the end of July, early into August, and then she went out right in the middle of August or early August. And I remember when she was heading out there, I took her to like Old Navy and everything, and I bought her towels. I bought her I have no idea.
She didn't have any money.
She needed these things, and I guess I just was like, well, this is what you do. I'm doing.
This is what the boyfriend does.
Yeah, and I don't even know if I don't know if I ever was classified as a boyfriend, but
she probably still has those things you bought her back in 2001.
I will tell you, those those green towels, we still have some of them.
Okay.
They were nice towels. I was like, because I remember she's like, oh, and I was like, no, you need to get the nice ones, right?
Okay.
And
you're
and
buying,
so
and she's telling you the quality.
Well, no. I was upscaling the quality. Lori's always pretty frugal, so she was looking for the cheap, and I'm like, no, you got to have the good ones, So I was trying to reel her in, I guess, at that point. I was like, we were.
Well, so this was a year of a new assignment, and it was a new assignment for me, kind of as well.
So let's go into that. I want to hear all about it, right? Or
it's just that we've talked about in different episodes that I'm a retired pastor. But after 10 years of being an associate pastor of a church in Worthington, Ohio, God seemed to put it on my heart, my wife's heart. And this was the culture back then for our church, that we would start a new church. We'd ask families in the church to come with us. And so if you're not from Columbus, around the clock around Columbus, we came from a church at 10 o'clock. And the fastest growing area of town was at 12 o'clock in Lewis Center. Powell, Ohio, the Polaris part of Columbus, if they're from there. And so it had our last name. Lewis,
you're Lewis
Center.
Here we are. Here's just so you know, Terry and I don't technically live in Lewis Center, but I'm kind of Lewis. I'm literally the lake over.
That's the community we identify
with,
or
wild.
At least I do.
Lewis Center.
And we talked to a bunch of people, and 18 families and with kids and everything, about 100 people said yes. And in the fall of 2000, we planted this church and in Lewis Center, and we met at an elementary school, and we raised $250,000 from the mother church, if you will, to help launch it.
Wow.
And rented an office, and we did it. We had 4.
So when you started, when did you was this in 2000 when did the discussion start a little bit?
Well, the whole year of 2000, in the fall of 99, the senior pastor of the church said, I think you'd be great at it. Let's get behind you. And in the past, they would give him like $10,000 and do it. And I went to that pastor and I said, I'd like to do it different. He said, well, what do you have in mind? I want you to let me raise $250,000 instead of $10,000. Are you sure
he wasn't just trying to hey, here's $10,000 and why don't you go to Lewis Center?
He said, whoa, you got a bigger vision than any of the others did. And I said, well, I do. And I said, you don't have to do any of the work. The team will go house to house in the church and raise those funds. And it was a lot of people gave very sacrificially, and it was great. So we launched it, and it was really a great experience. We met in Arrowhead Elementary School, and we had people coming right away. We had 4 kids at the time.
So leading up, though, from say end of 2000 to, you launched in the fall, but what was going on between there and there? Yeah,
great question. So starting in January of 2000, 9 months before we launched.
2001,
2000. We launched in the fall of 2000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And 2001, we were 4 months in.
Okay.
But a whole year of 2000, we had, I was the music pastor, and I was the singles pastor, and I was small groups pastor. But in addition to all of that, I had these 18 families, and we started meeting once a week, and we started dreaming about what would this church look like.
Yeah.
And everybody picked something that they wanted to be involved with the church, whether it's children's ministry or music or hospitality or whatever. And so we bought all the equipment. We knew we were going to be a portable church. We bought this big trailer with the money that was raised, and we put a big logo on the side of the trailer, and we knew that we were lugging everything to the church, to that school.
Who was responsible? Who pulled the trailer?
It was a guy that had one of these big Ford Explosions or whatever they called the big trucks. The big trucks.
He had a truck, or it was a truck? It wasn't a, because you say Ford Explorer or Ford Expedition or something like that. It was an actual truck, though, not a...
I don't know.
Yeah.
A truck chassis or whatever.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Because the guy that pulls the truck, I know this. Hey, Larry. I know you, Larry, but the guy that pulls the truck, that's a lot of wear and tear. If he doesn't show up,
pretty nervous,
Yeah, you're like, where's the truck?
Yeah. And it was a big gamble for my wife and I. We had 4 kids, probably 10 or 11 years old and younger.
Yep.
And they were leaving a church that had a wonderful youth group, and everybody was friends. And they were going to be the oldest kids in the church, nobody else their age. And Kelly and I thought, okay, is this really a stupid idea? And we just thought, we took a gamble and we said, our kids are going to grow up seeing their mom and dad living on the edge, trusting that if God doesn't show up, we're sunk.
Yeah.
And that's the image of Christianity they're going to see. And don't want to get too preachy, but that's what our kids saw. Yeah. And they got to experience
it. Arrowhead, that's where Kelly works.
Yeah, Kelly and my daughter work as
Kelly and
teachers there.
There's a lot of legacy there.
I remember one thing before we started church, we had to come up with a name for the church.
Yeah.
And I was liking names like, the Vineyard or the Grove or something like that. And so I thought, okay, what is the place that people gather? Where is the big park where people get a shelter house and they do all of that? And back then, the biggest park was in our community. We've got a man-made reservoir with a big dam. And underneath the dam was where all the shelter houses were, and everybody did that. So I said, let's call it the Dam Church. And I could be the damn pastor. Yes. You didn't know this story. Yes.
Maybe, I guess.
And people, after I preached, they'd say, that's a damn good message right there. D-A-M, not D-A-M.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we live right here by the dam.
Yes. And, this is a damn house,
And you can do the damn walk.
Yes. And, we're going to take a damn offering and the whole deal.
I won't be able to make any clips now. It'll literally bleep all these out.
Well.
I tried to make a clip on Woody Hayes, and it keeps bleeping out Woody. Yeah, keep bleeping them out.
All right.
Anyways, keep
going. That name didn't get voted on.
This is supposed to be a children's show, but
it's a
kid-friendly.
D-A-M. We have a dam, the Allen Creek Dam.
Yeah,
anyway, that didn't get voted through.
It's kind of like the Mohican Dam.
So, and then I wanted to call it the Cove.
All right, the
Church.
Cove. All right.
But everybody said it sounded like Coven.
Coven. Oh.
No. So my wife says, "Hey, listen, I heard of this. We passed a church one time to Florida. It was called Grace Point Church. And everybody immediately said, Terry, your idea is terrible. Kelly, your idea is going to win today.
Yeah, Kelly's
So it got named Grace
smarter.
Point Church because, she is smarter. Yes. And so, it was a great experience those days.
I was hoping to slip that by you without you.
Yes. 4 months in, we've hit 2001, and just surrounded with unbelievable people who are still some of my best friends today. And you're in the fight together. I mean, not like what you were doing in the military. We're going to hear more of that in this episode. But for me, you're surrounded with people that you have one another's backs, and you're got a mission that's clear for us and everything like that.
Well, you're out. I know this with ministry. I mean, you're in the fight sometimes. I mean, you're in there helping people. There are people who are struggling. There are people who need things.
Yeah.
And it's sacrifice.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you gave up a lot of late nights, a lot of time, like things you want to go do this, but nope. Instead, I need to go and pastor somebody and help them out and be there for them. So
some of the people who came, they thought, well, we didn't know that we could have so much fun with a sermon in it. Because in January 2001, I started a 10-part series of sermons based on the Survivor TV show.
Oh, did you really?
Which had just started in 2000.
It just started, yeah.
Yeah. And our episode 1 here, we talked about
Survivor,
the 50th season.
Wow!
But
and that was 25th.
Yeah, so we had artificial torches. I made everybody that came into the congregation. You're going to be on this team, or you're going to be on this tribe, and we're going to have challenges.
Who got voted out?
We had challenges, and I said, now here's the deal. This is just like life. You got half of the people in life who are for you. You got the people who are against you, and you need to make alliances.
Yeah.
You got to have one another's backs, which is a biblical principle that we've been talking about with all kind of things.
Yeah.
And so
battle buddies.
Yeah, people thought, man, this is unlike any other sermon. Their pastor's making me do challenges with people and all of that. But anyway, that was the start. That was the start of our.
What
church.
Was like one of the craziest things? Like if you think back to that like first year. It could be crazy and funny though. Either one. What was it, other than your your naming problems?
Why you surround yourself with people that you trust is because you know that they're not going to be yes people, men or women. They're going to be people who will challenge you and say, I don't think that went right. And I really needed them the time.
Yeah.
I was showing a movie clip to sort of help understand a point I was making. in one of my messages, and I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Family Man with Nicolas Cage, I think is his name. Yeah. No.
It doesn't ring a bell. But...
Okay. There's a scene where he goes to this guy's house, and he goes down to the guy's man cave, and he's telling the guy what he wants to do, and the guy says, "You're an idiot. You're just an idiot. You got a great wife, and you're talking about doing something stupid with another woman." And it's just a great scene, and I must have watched it 20 times to get the timing just perfect.
Yeah.
Little did I know the whole time there was a naked bobblehead Hawaiian girl bouncing around
in the background.
And I showed it at church.
You threw the whole clip up there.
I showed the whole clip at church. And so it took my friends coming up to me and said, "Well, Terry. Yeah. So from then on, I had to have somebody else look at the clips before I used them.
Yeah. They're like, we need to have approval. You knew the bobblehead was back there, didn't you?
No, I did not. Why I oughta. Yeah, so that was, that was my 2001, but then everything changed.
2001 was, it was moving. The interesting thing about, I remember, here I am, I'm a captain. I've got, 2001 was a weird year for me. It started off, right? So, I was coming out of a relationship and almost started a new one in a sense. And, I moved. I got new roommates, but we're set now. The cool thing about 2001 was I kind of had settled in with some good friends and was like living my life in a new direction in a way, right? And then they got the new president, and I've got this new job, and
you met the president.
And I met the president, but I remember thinking like, wow, as an American soldier, like our country, like it just everything felt pretty good, right?
Yeah, right.
It was,
safe, secure.
Yeah, exactly, right? And we were, we had just come out of like helping in Bosnia, and I felt really proud of that. We were in Kosovo kind of, and,
right.
done some good work there. And so, I felt like the United States was, we were that beacon of light and stuff like that, and everything was going really well. And you're just, you always wonder, what would have the trajectory have been had things been slightly different in 2001? And then, so I don't know if we're already ready to go into it.
Well, it's what you mentioned is interesting because isn't it an Army song where they sing over there, dun 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 dun, over there?
Yeah.
You're always talking about the military is always over there.
Yeah.
And then it came to us. It hadn't come to us since 1941.
Yeah, exactly. So, totally different. That'd been, it was shocking, right? It was very shocking. So,
September 11th, 2001.
Yeah.
A day that this country will never forget.
Yeah, and I hope we don't forget it. I mean, we got to remember what happened that day. And and there's a lot of different things. I'm not saying we got everything right afterwards, but we should remember what happened and the importance.
Tell me what you remember about that day or the week ahead.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, for me, I mean, it was an exciting year again, right? So I got into Fort Stewart, had done very well as an officer, and I got selected because I really wanted to get to Hunter Army Airfield. So my drive would go from like 50 minutes, because every day I'm driving from downtown Savannah, because I wanted to live downtown with Dan and Tim, all the way down to Hinesville, Georgia. And it's about a 50-minute drive. So you imagine a PT at 6:30, I got to be up at 5, you know what I mean, and get there so I can get there to PT and everything. But my drive would go from 50 to 15 minutes, right?
Okay.
And it's just, Hunter's a great place. So, and I loved the unit that was up there. So it was like, here was this opportunity for me to take command at Hunter Army Airfield. And I got selected. I interviewed for it, and I got selected. There is a little bit in there, though, where I got selected by the one brigade commander, and he was PCSing. So he was leaving. He was getting reassigned. So he selected me. New guy came in, and they were like, somehow I got lost. So I had to re-interview anyways. I was very happy to get selected twice to go up to Hunter in this unit. So I get assigned there now. It's September. I think it was September 4th.
Oh, my.
I get assigned
You come to this
new unit. Yep. Up at Hunter. So I'm excited to be there. And what's going to happen is I'm going to, to be selected for company command for the headquarters supply company for 603rd. But before you take command, you have to do it's like a 30-day change of command inventory. So you go through and have to inventory everything. And that was supposed to start like right in the middle of September. Okay. So I get up there a couple weeks early. I'm getting kind of in process and everything. And I'm just reporting every day into the S3 shop. So I don't go into PT early in the morning. I'm just kind of waiting for everything to get taken care of and get ready. So I'm not interfering with anything. So I'd been doing that for 6 or 7 days, and then September 11th happened, right?
What do you remember about that morning? You went into the...
Yeah, so that morning I get up, and I don't have to really be in there that day till like 9 o'clock. They're like, hey, don't worry about it. You just come in at 9 o'clock, right? Because I'm in the middle of kind of being in the new unit, and they don't have anything for me to do. I'm just waiting for them to say go to get the inventory started. So I'm like, yeah. So I remember waking up, and it's like probably 8 something or whatever. I get showered, and I go downstairs, and I'm putting my boots on, and I turn the TV on. And when I turn the TV on, that's when the plane had hit the first tower or whatever, right? So
do you remember, like, obviously we have some recordings of it, but it took a while for the news to know it happened and start covering it.
Yeah.
But you were watching that the news was starting to cover it.
Yeah, the news had already, so the first plane had already hit the tower. And so, you're like, what is this, right? They're still feeding it as, it's obviously it's taken on the news. So by the time I turn the TV on, it's already it's on probably the mainstream, so they're covering it. And it wasn't very much longer that the second plane hit.
I think it was only 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was the second plane hit. And so I was like, oh goodness, you're right, and so I'm like, I need to get into work, right? So
yes.
I remember getting my boots on and everything and start heading in. And at that point, the military, at least on our base, we were starting to scramble to get things kind of to try to comprehend what was going on, right? I mean, we're soldiers, but we're also just people, and it takes a second to process for things to funnel down. But good leadership, good people on the base, they start pretty quickly locking the base down. Yeah.
You mean nobody's going to leave?
Nobody's going to leave. To get on, it's going to be heightened level of security. And, it's going to be a little more challenging to get on in and off base. So,
because everybody is a target now. I mean, all the bases
are. Well, nobody knows, right? Yeah. So nobody knows what's going on. So I remember driving up, and fortunately I got in because like later in the day to get in off post was an hour or so event. I remember. Okay. You know what I mean? Getting off wasn't so bad, but trying to get on base was a super challenging event. Okay. So fortunately, I got on I said base, but on post.
Yeah, post.
It's an airfield technically, but I get on Hunter AAF airfield, and I get into the S3 shop. And of course, at this point, everybody's still, like I said, we're just normal people too. So we're kind of like in awe, and everybody's processing what's going on. And I'm
they glued to TVs, or
yeah. So when you first walk in, you always have like staff duty desks there at the front. And I remember walking in, you had the staff duty. They have we have a TV up there, and there's just a small crowd, watching it around the television, and everybody's talking. Right. And I remember talking to the S3. I remember talking to Captain Gurman. He was there, and Captain Adams. And so we're all kind of like, and there's other people around, and I just remember then we're watching. I can picture watching the TV and seeing the first tower fall, and then we just look at each other.
Do you remember? Was it noon by now that before the first tower fell?
No, it wasn't. I should have looked at.
It took a while, right?
Yeah, but it was around 10 o'clock. I want to say.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I want to say it was around 10 something.
It was within the first hour. It fell.
Yeah. I remember the first one falling, and we're like, This is serious. Yes. And somewhere in there, right around after the first tower fell, it might have been after the first or second, I get a text from my brother Ryan.
Okay.
And Ryan lives in New Jersey, right? So where he lives is, the Secaucus, Hoboken, Lyndhurst, like literally right over the river from New York City.
Okay.
And I don't know if his school, like the high school that he's at now, was built. Yeah, I don't think it was, but basically his high schools and stuff, like the schools you can see.
He's a school teacher or principal?
Yeah, at this point he's a school teacher, or he's an administrator. Yeah. He's probably an administrator at that point, maybe. He's a principal now. Okay. But, they can see the New York City skyline, right there.
They can see the smoke.
Yep, they can see the smoke. They can, I'm sure they're all outside looking. But he sends me a text, and I just remember him sending me a text, and it said, Jeremy, I don't know what the ramifications of this event are going to be on your life, basically. Yeah. But I want to let you know that I love you. right? So
wow.
it's interesting. I get a little. You're getting me emotional again, but it's interesting to think about. Like, yeah, my brother, and then I think every military member or anybody. I mean, obviously we've got these heroes going into,
first responders.
Yeah, the first responders, and I always. I know we as military get so much recognition, but man, I think first responders are, my son's going to be a firefighter, and I just think about first responders all the time. They don't get possibly the due that they deserve sometimes. And you think of that, right? Like at that point in time, there are people who are running away.
Yep.
But there's
heroes.
there's always, you get me choked up there, Terry. But there's always the people that go in, right?
Yeah.
And that's what they were doing. They're
the TV was covering some of it, and
yeah.
And since they've done these documentaries about the firehouses, and
yeah.
Wow.
So they're all running in, and I remember, like, is that morning, like there's still stuff that has to. And that's the thing. I think always when you take into account. And there's, again, I don't ever want to take away from people that are out doing their jobs every day.
Right.
But I also want to give credit to the people who run into things. You know what I mean? Who are willing to say, okay, this is happening.
People need me.
People need me.
I have the skills.
And it's time to step up.
It's time to step up.
Yeah, and do it. And I think a lot of people, man, I didn't.
You're okay.
I didn't think it was
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's
but
fine.
I'll have to figure out how to edit this out.
No, we don't edit it out.
Yeah.
We don't edit it out. Yes. Do you remember, Jeremy, how soon did we identify it as a terrorist attack?
I remember right after the second plane. I think there were some reports of it even after the first plane, but they were really saying no, because I think they thought it was a small aircraft versus a large aircraft. But reports were coming in pretty quickly that it was a large aircraft, and I think people realized they saw that it was a passenger plane.
Yeah, and two of them.
And then the second one solidified it.
And then the Pentagon.
And we're under attack. And then the Pentagon. Yep. And my assignments officer, for my branch, he was killed in the attack. Yeah. And so there were people. I think people sometimes forget that the Pentagon was hit and people lost their lives. There were people working there at the Pentagon. Human Resource Command, which is now in Kentucky, was there at the Pentagon, and that's kind of the area they hit.
Wow, I do remember watching. I was glued to the TV. The same. We were in our church office. We just had our 1-year anniversary of the church. Everything seems to be going well, and I'm by myself in the church office and just a rental office and I get a knock on the door, and it's the lady who had rented the suite next to us, and she's asking for a wire hanger. And what do you need a wire hanger for? She said, for the antenna for my small portable TV. I said, okay, why? What's on TV? And she said, we're under attack.
Yeah.
We've been attacked. What? So I went home, and I was glued to the TV, and I never knew how much let the 4 kids be not glued to the TV as much as I wanted to be. But then the Pentagon, and then I remember them saying that there probably might be more planes, there's ones that's gone over Cleveland, Ohio, and has turned around.
Yeah.
And somehow I'm feeling like it could have been maybe after the fact, but in my mind they're all mixed up. But there was another one coming, and then we saw that it went down. And that whole story of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, they're near Somerset, Pennsylvania there.
Yeah.
And I've been meaning to get out there and see that memorial. It's interesting. I've seen a little bit of the new where you go to the World Trade Center there in New York. I'm not a big memorial person in a way, but I do. Meaning that I'm glad they do it. And I know it means a lot to some people. I just don't go to a lot of them. But.
The way they designed the World Trade Center, have you been there?
I have been there. Yep.
It was just that big, and all the water flows down, and it's very powerful.
Yeah, I have. But yeah, I probably need to go there and spend a little more time. The same thing with out there in Somerset area. Go see that memorial there and spend some time.
Yeah. So I remember as the morning was progressing, I'm thinking, okay, I'm a leader.
Yeah.
And I got to have my mind on how can I help this small congregation. And so I said, anybody who wants to come to the office that evening, and we probably had 60 people that came, and just letting people talk about it, process it, prayers for one another, and okay, and then over time, over the next month, things began to go back into normal routine. You, on the other hand, it's the opposite. Talk to me about what happened then.
Yeah, I think, so that night, I'm pretty confident. I remember, and I know they have very vivid memories of it, but that night, so we get through the day, and of course, now we've heightened all the security things and stuff like that. For me, I'm not in a role, so I do get a little bit of reprieve yet because, change of command and all that, and they're still trying to figure out all that. But that night, we go to dinner with Dan and Tim, and I don't know who else went, but I remember being there with Dan and Tim, and we go to Sixpence Pub.
Okay.
And obviously, Sixpence is the center of the story for us, and
this is off grounds. This is
we're back. We get back to our place, and then we go to dinner. And I remember us just sitting there, and we're just kind of just processing and talking about it, like, oh my goodness. And then other people, that's when like people started thanking us. I think people all started recognizing what was coming, and and what I do know, because I have friends that were part of it, was very quickly. Our unit didn't go that fast, but there were units that quickly mobilized, and we were beginning to mobilize, but that they would be in Afghanistan pretty quickly. And so I've got friends that I know that were part of that initial packages that went into Afghanistan, in that first hit back at the Taliban after 9/11. But
the president, everybody was wondering, was he sent to some secure facility somewhere in the middle of the United States?
Yeah, he was. Well, if you remember,
he was in a classroom of some kind.
Yeah, he was down in Florida, and he was there.
In Florida.
Yeah, he was in Florida, and they were reading. He was reading to like an elementary school class, and that's when the plane hits, and then you see, basically the people come up, and the first person says something to him, and he did a great job of kind of excusing himself when he could. And then, they took him up. Actually, he was in the air most of the time. He stayed up in the air on Air Force One, if I recall. And then from, things started happening there. So I just met the president in February, and now here he is, his whole, think about it, right? Yeah. His vision for what his presidency would be like changed pretty rapidly.
Did we hear from him that night?
I believe we did, and then of course he was there at 9/11. He got down to New York, and we all know, where he's there, where the incident happened pretty quickly, and that was the way he was as a president, just trying to be involved. And there's a lot to figure out and a lot to do, and
I remember that we had somebody who was in food service. Have you ever? I know it might sound a strange question to ask you right in this moment, but have you ever had a Bahama Mama sausage?
A Bahama Mama sausage? No, I've not.
Spicy sausage?
I've heard of Bahama Mamas. Those are usually like beverages.
No, not the beverage. You ever been to Schmidt Sausage House in German Village?
I've not been to Schmidt's.
Okay.
I need to get down
there.
There's
a spicy sausage. Anyway, this person who attends our church, she bought the recipe and the rights to the Bahama Mama sausage.
Okay.
And she sold it to aircraft carriers and everything else. Anyway,
really?
She had a big supply in warehouse, and she gathered a handful of people from the church and said, "We're taking our supply to New York City, and we're passing out. We're grilling sausages for first responders, anybody who needs it." I didn't go on the trip, but those people said they'll never ever forget the sights of doing that. And I mean, it unified our nation.
I love that.
Quickly.
Again, that's another example of somebody stepping up and running in versus away, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that, like, even there was a tornado, I remember, in Kansas, and just seeing people gather up bottled water or anything, and they're saying, you know what? We're going to go there and help. Do whatever we can.
Yes.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah. We also, church went down, what's the, in New Orleans, what was the...
Katrina?
Yeah. Yeah. See what we could do there.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, before we move on, the other side, is another story, which she's, it was my wife, so she's out on Sapelo Island.
Yeah.
She has no anything, right?
She has no television.
No, she doesn't have anything where she's at. And I guess she was out and about, and somebody came to her and said, hey, we were just attacked. You know what I mean? And
you had bought her a phone, but there's probably no cell tower.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember exactly how that went. You know what I mean? But yeah, so she, like, there was this little post office building or something. And so she said she went in there. Like, it's the main, like, Georgia, natural resources office or something they have there. And they have a little post office there and stuff. But I guess she was in there, and then they had a little TV, like you said, probably with the antenna or whatever. And they were watching the first updates of what happened. And so I remember eventually I do talk to her that day.
Yeah.
But we're not together. And, and that's only, you think about it, that's just like 6 weeks, 7 weeks after we met.
Yeah.
You have 9/11 happen. And
wow.
So
you don't stay at this not base. What are you calling it?
Hunter Airfield? The post, yeah.
Did you stay there, or what is it? You told me once that you went to help command Rock 6. I don't even know what that is.
Oh, you don't know? You're just like, what are these notes about?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why the note. Yeah, but anyway, so Rock 6 has actually would become my call sign for the company.
Okay.
So while I was there, that's what I was doing was waiting to take company command. I was supposed to take command probably there at the beginning of October.
Okay.
But now we have to push it. So basically everything gets pushed just like a month.
Okay.
And I think they were probably evaluating, like, do we change out company commanders right now?
Okay.
Because here's a company guy that's been with this company for a long time. Are we going to war? Do you want to keep him in command? So he's with a crew, but he's been there already kind of a long time. But they made a decision then to go ahead and switch out me as a company commander. And then so what that meant is we ended up just pushing the inventories a little bit. And so I would take command in November of 2001 of my company. Yep.
And what was your company? Were they going to be shipped out as soldiers, or tell me again? We still in logistics,
so I did logistics. So we're the company that supplies basically a lot of the logistics for the aviation brigade and battalions within the 3rd Infantry Division. So yeah, that's our duty and our job.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because I do remember early on I took command, and I'm taking command now basically in wartime. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I will say this: I don't say it was easy, but having the ability, because what was being said all the time was, it's not whether or not we go to war. It's not a matter if we go to war. It's when we're going to go to war.
Yes.
Right. So that was, and so one, being told that, and two, standing in front of the soldiers, pretty routinely as we're doing something now, because before you're just training all the time for something.
Right.
Now there's a clear mission and purpose, and to stand in front of the soldiers to say, hey, soldiers, it's not if we're going to go to war, it's when we're going to go to war, and we need to prepare ourselves to go to war.
Yes.
And so that changes everything. It changes the way you think about your training. And I know for a fact, for me personally, my mission was, I want to make sure my company is the most prepared company, or the most prepared it can be to go to war.
Yeah.
Because my personal mission, I always would tell my anywhere I've been in the Army, I would always say, we have a company, or we have a battalion, or we have a unit mission.
Yeah.
But my mission is the one to make sure that you can go there, right? Fight and win and do the best we can. But the second part of that is to bring every single person home.
Right.
And I think if we work hard, we train hard, we do all the things we're supposed to do. And I know that doesn't happen all the time, but we can bring everybody home.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you said that they did approve this command change for you to come in.
Yep.
But you also mentioned that not all of the upper-ups agreed.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. What happened was that colonel left, and when the colonel left, I get the new colonel in, and the new brigade commander, I think, was fine with it. But what happened was I'm leaving this battalion, and actually this battalion commander wanted me to stay.
Okay.
And I'm moving up to this battalion, where this battalion commander had already kind of wanted. He's an aviator. He had another aviator he wanted in that command.
Okay.
And so, these two battalion commanders got together, and they're like, well, why don't you just have him stay there, and he'll stay there, and we'll be fine. And then all of a sudden, last minute, it kind of comes out. And so the brigade commander asked me, he's like, where do you want to command? And I said, I'm fine either way, but I would prefer to command up there. And that brigade commander, the Fulberg colonel, said, okay, you're going to go to 603rd. So I do show up to, and I do remember this, like, it's kind of weird. It wasn't that he was mean, but he was pretty straightforward. When I walked in the first time, he says, I didn't want you here.
Oh, my goodness. That's not a great start.
No, that's not the best start. But, I didn't take it personally. I understood. And, he like I said, I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't like he was being mean about it. Maybe he was just being like, just a little bit. And of course, we would get along fine.
Yes.
But he wasn't there very long either. So he was on his way out already because he had been there a while, nothing bad.
Yeah.
And he was a funny guy, but, he would not be the battalion commander later that I would spend the majority of my command with.
So, I don't know what you're allowed to talk about, but in my mind, I'm thinking you're doing logistics for this airfield, but in your mind, at this point that at some point, you're going to go.
Yeah.
Your team, Rock 6, is going to be deployed.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel? Is there fear? Is there a purpose?
I think, I would say for me, and if you go through all these, you'll probably see, I mean, I did have a little bit of a emotional moment there, but for the most part, when I hit challenges, it solidifies me in my drive.
Okay.
I think people have always said that I'm determined. I have perseverance, and I think this just really sent a lot of resolve of my mind saying this is important, and I'm responsible for 180 soldiers. When I'm plussed up with everything that we had, and we need to be ready and we need to be focused, and we're going to be okay if we do that. Yeah. So it really helped me, I think, focus on the mission and get my company ready.
It was unpredictable that this was going to happen, but
very unpredictable, right?
This is the unpredictable life.
Very unpredictable, yeah.
But when it happened, then you focused in, and what is Rock 6 again?
Rock 6. So Rock 6 is my call sign, right? So in a unit, our company motto in a way was rock solid support. And so you have the different mottos and stuff. Like our battalion was the workhorse battalion.
Okay.
So you have different, when I was, in Iraq in 2005, our little unit was the Nighthawk element. We were a Nighthawk. So what you do is you have your elements. And so in ours, you have your call sign. So I was the rock. My call sign was rock. Our whole company's call sign was rock. And then the commander of the unit, his call sign, he's the 6 element. So the commander's the 6. So I'm Rock 6.
You have no idea why 6? Why 6?
I guess it's tradition. You're asking me. I feel bad, and I said know these questions. I usually do know.
Somebody gave you the number.
Yeah, right.
So
you know what? I don't know the history of how they did 6, 7, 5. So I'm 6. My call sign is 6, 7. There you go. But the NCOIC or either the first sergeant, the sergeant major, the second, the highest ranking NCO, they're the 7 element.
Okay.
So my first sergeant, who I love to this day, Master Sergeant. Well, he became a sergeant major, Command Sergeant Major Montez, who's now a pastor of a church.
Okay.
Amazing man. He was Rock 7. And then you have the XO. So your XO element is the 5 element. And then each platoon leader, as you go down, is, first platoon is Rock 1, Alpha, you could say, because that's the officer. And then you could say November, which is for the NCO and things like that. There's a lot to it.
I followed Rock 6. Rock 6 meant they knew this is the commander. The division, and 6 meant it was the commander.
That's the commander. So when you're on a call sign, when you're on the radio, right, you'd say Rock 6, this is Rock 6, over.
Yeah. And who... were you starting to build friends? You had your neighborhood. I mean, you had your house friends. Then were you starting to build friends in command, or is command a lonely position?
Well, they always say it is lonely at the top, but fortunately for me, I had built that friendship with my, outside of the military before I took command, and it was solid there. So I had Dan and Tim and all those guys. But when I show up there, I did build friendships and lifelong friendships with my unit. I'll tell you what, I'm going to get emotional as I start thinking about them.
Go for it.
Because we're going to talk about them in 2002, 2003. But I ended up taking command, and we grew probably, to me, one of the best units in the Army.
Okay.
And I absolutely firmly,
why do you say it?
I absolutely firmly believe that. The leadership team that was there, not because of me. I mean, just what God honestly blessed me with.
Yeah.
My Master Sergeant Montez, who would be First Sergeant Montez, he came in as a Sergeant First Class, just pinned on. He was working down in the SPO shop, and he came in as my first sergeant. Amazing gentleman, godly man. And then I would have Jason or Lieutenant Eisen, Lieutenant Trias would come in, and then I had Lieutenant Cromley. And those three, I'm still friends with. I mean, they're just awesome people. And we would build, and and then I think of all the platoon sergeants I had. Right. BMO, right? I don't know if BMO will ever listen to this, but I mean, he's just this big black man, and he's just got the best smile always. And even though he'd push back on me, he'd always laugh. But he's one of our main sergeants there. And then we have Sergeant Faulkner, and he was, probably the best supply sergeant you could have in the United States Army.
And these are all on the officer side of military.
No. I'm mentioning officers, and most of them I mentioned are NCOs.
NCOs. Okay.
Yeah, like I could literally go through my entire company and tell you each one of those soldiers were amazing.
Yes.
God blessed me with just this unit where when they came in, and I think part of it though is there was a core great unit, Sergeant Dane, these great people that came in, and because of 9/11, people were just signing up.
Yes.
And I would get, they just wanted to serve, and that was the beauty of it. This happened, and people said, "I want to serve," and that was just in their heart. And they came in, and then they got to be help create this amazing unit that I got to be part of. I know I was the commander.
Wow.
I was the commander of it, but oh my goodness, I felt like we could do anything, and that's from the beginning all the way through.
Wow. And how many men and women are we talking about that are under your command?
Well, eventually by the time we would deploy, and again, this is later on, we'd be about 180. I think at that point we're probably only 130, probably maybe.
130.
Yeah.
And you would have regular meetings with your tops?
Yeah, every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
And so everybody knew, all right, now we got to carry this out with the people that we're doing it.
We're going to, and it was hyper-focused on training, right? So I was, as people probably know, and I'm a very big planner. I'm a big systems and process guy. So what my immediate thing is we got to get trained. We got to get prepared. We got to get ready. And then these are going to be the things that we're going to do that. And then we're going to backwards plan off of that. And then of course I'm a tech guy, so I started building all the databases and things to help us track all these things.
Yes.
And get us ready, and so that was a big part of it. But then I had my friendships too.
Yes.
And we'll talk a lot about the unit going, the FTXs, the field training exercises because now we got to get prepared and we got to train, and we're going to train for, and that's mostly 2002, and then we'll talk 2003, the war. But
You're talking about not only understanding how to do their job, but physical training, and we're going to be in a desert environment, or we're going to be in a cold environment. Yeah. Okay, let's go off the airfield and back to the house. You're still living with these guys.
Yep.
And by the way, are there things that you can't share with them?
No, for us, we're all officers, and
the
stuff that we're talking about, there was nothing really big going on. Other than we're preparing, and we all know, we're probably getting, at that point in 2001, we hadn't got any official orders or anything, so it's more like just the same stuff. Everybody's being told. It's not a matter of if, it's when. So you need to get together, and I know they're training and their units are doing stuff.
And you all, did you get a sense that, listen, we need a release valve. We got to have some fun when we're in the house. We can't just. So from that fall of 2001, you got a story or two from.
Yeah, a few of them, I guess.
Okay.
And I think that's it. I know this has been very serious, right? We talk. We got probably an hour of serious, which is, this might be the most. Well, I'm sure there'll be more, but serious moments in the podcast, but. We're the reality is we're fun people, and in these moments we yes, we focused, and every one of the people that I worked with was very serious and took their job serious, but we also would go back and have a good time.
Yeah.
And so fortunately, with Dan and Timbo, going into Halloween, we have Halloween and Christmas, and those are probably, the big things. But before we get to that one, there was a story I left out.
Okay.
From the first one. And that story was Dan and Tim, we're talking about the video games and how we used to play the video games. And I don't know when this happened. It might have happened after 9/11.
All right.
But I definitely I'd be remiss just because it was funny. And we owe homage. We got to pay homage to that poor mouse. But anyway,
the mouse.
The mouse. Yeah, we got to pay homage to the mouse. Not Mickey Mouse.
Not Mickey Mouse.
Yep. And
a real mouse that you caught?
Yeah, it's a real mouse. Definitely a real mouse.
A real mouse.
Yeah, so Timbo, we were all playing video games. Sometimes he'd get a little bit into his video games.
Oh, okay.
And anyways, he got a little frustrated and as he's playing it. And anyways, as he's playing it, he gets frustrated, didn't work, and he takes his mouse and he throws
his computer mouse.
Yeah, his computer mouse, and it gets a slam to the ground.
Yours looks like something out of Batman movie or something.
Yeah, right. That's kind of like, that's a pretty good mouse there. But
he slams it.
He slams it and it breaks and shatters. So anyway, it's laying there dead on the floor. So, obviously, with some good roommates.
Yeah. Military
roommates. We had to go get some tape. And so we tape out an outline of where the mouse is, like a crime scene. We outline the whole mouse, all the little pieces. And then, and somebody has a photo of this. Dan, this is the things I wish would happen.
Oh, we need a picture if anybody's got it.
If somebody has it, post the picture in the comments of the mouse in the outline there, and it says "Some gave all."
Some gave their all.
Yeah,
yes.
Some gave all, and nothing against soldiers. I mean, we respect them, and
yes,
some did give all. But that mouse, some gave all, and it ended up. And anyways, that's just lore within the.
How did you dispose of the mouse? Did you bury the mouse?
Yeah, no, I think the mouse ended up getting in the garbage, but I think the tape probably stayed there for a little while.
Okay, and you have memorial words spoken?
No, we didn't do all that.
You didn't do all of that.
But, yeah, so this is just an example of our crew, though.
Yes,
really
yes.
Good fun people.
You mentioned Halloween, and tell me about Halloween. Did you guys do big stuff for Halloween?
Yeah, Halloween was always a big event for us, and that year we actually went to a couple. Like Lori and I went to one.
Okay, Lori was with you?
Yep, yeah. So Lori's there, and she got back from out on Sapelo Island, and she went as Wonder Woman, and I went as Superman.
What do you mean went where?
She actually, there was, our battalion did a hail and farewell. We do these events. So in the Army, you do these hail and farewells every 6 months or every 6 weeks or 6 to 8 weeks. So
hail and
farewell. And a hail and farewell, you're welcoming the new people that had just showed up in that same time period, the officers and their family and their wives into the unit, and the people that are saying goodbye, that are going to be leaving, we farewell them. And so we have usually a dinner. So it's usually somewhere downtown or wherever it is, and you have to get all 40 officers together, and we give plaques and stuff, and new people get their coin, their battalion coin. Okay. And so that one in October was a Halloween one. So Lori and I, she actually made her costume.
She went as what?
She went as Wonder Woman.
As Wonder Woman.
Yeah, and she actually made it.
She is a Wonder Woman.
Yeah. She actually stitched it together, which was good, but also what she learned was
careful now.
Yeah, what she learned is when you stitch things together, like women's underwear and stuff is made like very well to be, so it shapes very well. She learned that she had to be very careful. Exactly, careful.
Oh,
now,
I see.
Wearing her handmade Wonder Woman outfit.
Oh,
and her boots. She did go buy the boots though.
Okay.
And those.
And you went as?
I went as Superman. Mine was very easy. I bought one of those cheap ones with the muscles already built in.
Oh, you had the muscles. You didn't need that.
Well, yeah.
So you went as Superman, and she went as Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm. But the funny thing is then my roommates and I, we ended up going. I did this in 2000. Also, but yeah, the same little group. We went as Kiss. The rock band Kiss, yeah. So we did. There was two Halloween parties, and we went as Kiss. So I was, I think Ace Frehley, and then, but yeah, we had the whole Kiss band. We had the whole Kiss band. We do have photos of that. That's again, if Dan and Tim or somebody has the photos, they want to post those.
I want to see those photos.
We were pretty good. I mean, it looked pretty good.
Yeah, I bet. And
that started my rock and roll career right there.
Oh,
That's
yes. We didn't even talk about O'Neill's.
O'Nellie's.
Oh, yeah, O'Nellie's.
We did, yeah. I'll be
you
there
do any
Monday.
Kiss songs in your set?
You know, I don't do any Kiss songs. I should probably try to do maybe Rock and Roll All Night, Party Every Day.
Okay, yeah. People would sing along to that.
I keep forgetting this mic probably picks up stuff, and I shouldn't be singing.
The only, I think, what was their famous ballad? Beth.
You know, you always ask me these questions. So just so you guys have probably already figured out, I am not a detail, like when you ask me about, so like there's certain, like my brain in some ways, I can barely speak English sometimes, let alone remember like all the songs.
Did I just hear your wife the other side of the house say amen?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
All right. So you had a Christmas party. Then
we had that was a Halloween party.
That was a Halloween party.
But,
then you had a Christmas party?
Yeah, this is just filler really because the main thing was the build up to Christmas party. So the three of us, and they had thrown Christmas parties before. And it's interesting because you'll see this trend all the way back when I was in college. We threw those big Christmas parties. Yeah. And now here it is. It's 2001, and we're going to throw our big Christmas party. So Dan, Tim, and I think we each, and this is 25 years ago. So we each contributed. We said, okay, we're all going to each throw $600 in. So each one of us threw $600 in. So that's $1,800.
Yeah.
And then we went down to sixpence. We got Sandra.
Okay.
And Sandra went with us to the Class 6. And if you're not familiar with the Class 6, that is, so you have different, Class 6 is where you buy all your alcohol.
Okay.
And Class 6, so
is this related to Rock 6?
No. So in the Army, though, you have your class as a supply.
Okay, go back. Now we're going to where you're buying the booze.
Yeah, it's called the Class 6.
Okay.
But you have these different classes as supply. And the class supply, you have Class 1 is food.
Okay.
Like your food and water. Class 2 is like pens, general supplies.
This really is a military thing.
This is a military thing. Fuel and oil and all that is Class 3.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Class 5, we'll just keep going. That way I can get through it. Class 5 is ammunition. And Class 6 is actually technically sundry items, right? So, and it's usually things you need. But in the military, we also call the place where you can go purchase alcohol on post is called the Class 6. And it actually says that, the Class 6.
Okay.
Now, I'm sure maybe it goes back years and years ago.
So you're buying your booze on
post. Because there's no tax. It's cheaper.
And you're allowed to take it off.
And you're allowed to take it off, yeah. So we grabbed Sandra from Sixpence. She comes down with us and she buys us all. Because she's going to bartend. She bartends our Christmas party. So she's going to bartend the Christmas party. It's open bar.
Yeah.
And we're going to, cater everything, these big sandwiches and stuff.
Oh my goodness. And this is a big party.
Yeah, it was a huge party. And so, we're going to get, it's a black tie affair, right? Not black tie, but it's a dress up affair too.
Okay. All
yeah,
right.
we tell everybody this is a dress up. We've got, this place we're staying, it's got 4 fireplaces in it. It's got 2 of them downstairs, 2 of them upstairs. Just looks nice.
Forsyth Park.
Well, we're right off, it was at Huntington Street.
Right.
And, the house is probably, would sell for $1 million or so now, I'm sure, easily. And, but we're going to have this huge party. So we're planning for this party starting in November.
Okay.
And Dan and Tim have already got their list of who they're going to invite. And they want to do this Evite, right? Which is still 2001. The internet we talked about was 1993. So, Evites is a pretty new thing.
Okay, all right.
So they're like, look, Jerome, you need to get us our thing. And I keep delaying. I'm like, look, I am trying to command a company that's getting ready to go to war.
Oh, my goodness.
You guys aren't doing anything.
They're putting pressure on you.
Leave me alone. So they call me one day.
The Evite's your responsibility.
No, it's their responsibility.
Okay, all right.
But I haven't sent them who I'm inviting, right?
Oh, your invite
my list. I haven't given them my list. So somehow at lunch or something, they get in the same office at Fort Stewart. I'm up at Hunter Army Airfield, and they call me, and I'm busy. So I pick up the phone, I put them on speakerphone in my office, and they're like, Jerome, where's the list? You need your list. And I'm like, guys, I just need to, no, we're doing it right now. You need to get it. So I'm like, all right, fine. Like, fine, Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I start going through, I open up my email on my work computer, and I start going through, and I'm like, all right, I'm new to this battalion, right? I've only just taken command, and I don't know everybody, but I'm like, all right, I'm going to invite all the officers to this party. I've got,
like
I'm
40 or so, yeah.
Yeah, I need to, get to know them anyways, and as you already know, I like having an event.
Yes,
we invite I like inviting strangers to my house. No, but I do enjoy like, hosting and stuff. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to invite everybody. So I start going through the battalion, through the email, and I start clicking on all the officers in the battalion. I'm clicking 1, 2, getting all their email addresses. And then I get almost everybody's like 40 the whole battalion worth of officers. And I highlight all the emails and I drop it down into the body of the thing. And then, and Dan and Tim are still on the phone, right? They're on speakerphone with me. And then I'm like, all right, fine. And I go, here you go. And then I use a cuss word, right?
Okay.
And then I've done that. So I'm like, here you go. And they're on the thing because, but I type that in there and I hit send. And I'm not exaggerating. As soon as my finger hit the click button, it's like it wanted to just pull the entire, I probably just shut off. It just wanted to pull the entire, it was like, as soon as it clicked, it registered in my brain.
That what?
That as I was collecting all the emails that I was dropping, that after I would copy and paste, I never removed that same email from the to line, right, of the email. So I just sent to the entire battalion, all the officers in the battalion, this email that all it said was, here you go.
You blank.
No, I didn't say. I just said, here you go, B.
Yes.
And
that's all they got. They got an email from you.
Every single officer in my
Here you go, B.
Here you go. Right. And as soon as I click it, right now, Dan and Tim, they're on speakerphone, and they just hear me go, oh no. Right. They hear me just yell like, oh no, and they're like. And I'm like, I can't believe, all they hear is me. He's like, I can't believe I just did this, right? And I'm like, whoa, I'm just going through I remember just sweating. I just started, I got super hot and I just start sweating. And they're like, what's going on, Jerome? What's going on? And I'm like, I go, I just sent the entire battalion that email I just sent to you. And they're like, what is it? Well, they're getting the email now, right? And they see it. And they're just like, uh-oh. Well, I think Dan goes, oh, Jerome.
Oh no.
And he's like, recall it. And I'm like, I can't, I'm trying. He's like, how do you do it? I can't. Cause
I wouldn't know how to do that.
I'm usually the guy that can tell people how to do things, but in this heated, my brain just it's one of those, you just can't do anything fast enough and you just have to accept defeat, right?
Okay.
You just have to accept this just happened and this is the way it is.
So what was the fallout?
So within a minute, not even, the emails start coming back. Right. In the very, very first email I get back is from, and Dan and Tim are still on the thing. So I'm telling them oh no, they're hearing this whole live. It's
yes.
I go, the very first email I get back is from the chaplain.
Okay.
Of our unit.
Chaplain.
Yep. And he says, what was this for?
What did I do? Yeah.
What? Yeah. He's like, what is this? Why am I getting this? You're the new guy. I barely know you. And you're getting this email and it just starts clicking down the line, right? And I start getting an email question mark, right? Some people just send me just back a question mark and it's just coming back. It's like, boom, boom. I mean, I've sent this to 40 random officers and I actually sent it to, actually to officers that work with me in my previous units too.
Oh, gee.
So I think
anybody you were on to invite.
So I remember, I just now remember this. My old battalion commander, Colonel Wentz, and I don't know if he's going to watch this or not. I just remember he sent me back this response and it was so sad or something like that. Like he just realized what I had done too.
You knew.
And he's just like,
what about your current up the chain?
Yeah. So as it's going down, it's going boom, boom, boom. And then after I'm getting these other ones, finally I get, and the people that know me, they're laughing, but I get this email that just says, from my current battalion commander, the battalion commander who didn't want me there.
Who did not want you there.
Want me there. He just says, I just get this email that says, come see me. And I'm like, Dan and Tim, and they're like, oh no. And I'm like, oh no. You know what I mean?
Oh my.
And I can't remember if I might have did it after the fact, right? Because I think then I was just accepted defeat.
So what happened?
So I go to his office. I walk in. I'm like, and he. Now, fortunately, this is these moments where, when I told the stories at Airborne School, my smile and laughter resulted in further punishment. Right?
Okay.
I think this is one of those moments where I've probably in my whole life it has saved me a million times. Maybe.
Yes.
was I just remember opened the door and his desk was against the wall there. So he's got his back to me. I knock and he turns around. He does a sliding chair and he just turns around and looks at me. And of course, I do have a big grin on my face, right? I probably shouldn't have maybe, but I did. And I saw his face and he's just looking at me and I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. You know what I mean? And I'm laughing almost. And he fortunately grins and laughs and he's like, tell me what's going on. And so I go,
you tell him the whole story.
I tell him the whole story, of which he has, he fortunately had
has some compassion
and humor. And he responds, you know, and he does. I mean, again, he was a good guy, right? Like, I just wasn't the guy that he had hoped and dreamed for in this time. He was leaving anyways, but he turns around and, you know, he's the only, like, very few guys in the Army have a mustache. He's got a big mustache and he's got a big smile on his face. And he's like, yeah, okay. And he's like, look, let's not ever do that again.
Let's not ever do that again.
And I think he might've been the one who said, okay, let's go back to your computer, just write up what happened a little bit and respond and tell everybody sorry.
Yes.
And let them know what's going on. And you probably won't live this down ever for the rest of your life.
Yes.
And it's true. I mean, because even to this day,
I do want to hear some comments on that.
Yeah. Even to this day, sometimes, and it may happen now, I will get a random text from people and it just says, here you go.
The Evite disaster.
Yeah. The complete, you know, and, but it all worked out and it was fine and it made for a good story.
And it was a good party?
It was an amazing party. Yeah. So I remember, you know, it's so funny. It's like, it's kind of like you now when you go to over to Grace Point and people don't know who you are, right? They're like, hey, Terry. They're like, oh, how long you been going here?
Yeah, how long you been coming here?
How long you been coming here?
Yeah.
We had so many people at this party, though. And I remember just sitting there and people coming in. They're like, and this, like, one girl stops me as I'm walking by. She's like, wow, this is a beautiful home. This is a great spot. This is a great party. She's like, man, I wonder who lives here. And I'm just thinking, oh, this is my house.
In my house.
Yeah. But you know, it's the funny part about having a big party like that. And it was a great time. Everybody was pretty good. Obviously there's always one or two people, but I do remember, you know, when you have people in your house, like we would have people randomly. Like I remember picking up the phone one time. We had to put codes on our phone that allowed you to dial long distance.
Okay.
And whose they were, because what was happening is people come to our house, and I remember I think it was I'm pretty confident it was on the Christmas party.
Yeah.
I remember picking up the phone for some reason, and there's somebody on our phone, and they had called like their mom or their friend or girlfriend long distance. You know what I mean? So they were just like taking advantage of our phone.
Well, it sounds like a welcoming place.
Yeah, yeah.
And now, did Lori come to this party?
Yeah, Lori was there. She looked great. she was decked out in a good Christmas. I wish we had. You know, it's so weird. I don't have any that I'm aware of any photos from the Christmas party. So if Dan, Tim, anybody that attended, that'd be pretty cool if we had any photos. I'm surprised we don't. I was always good about just taking pictures a lot when we were, you know, over time, but yeah.
Yeah. So
that was the Christmas party.
So things are moving pretty fast with you and Lori.
They are. Yep. I mean, we have the Christmas party.
Can we shift into what else happened with you and Lori at Christmas time?
Yeah. So, you know, I kind of already said that in the last episode, but what happens is so right after the Christmas party is not right at Christmas.
Right.
It's like, because in Army units, you go on what's called Christmas Exodus. So, and even though we have the wartime thing going on, we've gotten to clear that we're good to go. So a lot of units for 2 weeks will kind of like go into like where you can have some block leave, let people go away.
Okay.
Some units like do a day on, day off schedule. Some units do a half day schedule. But they allow you to have some more time off. So you wanted, you know, we did this probably in the middle of December because we know a lot of people are going to be leaving and everything else.
Right.
You know, like probably the few days before or a week or two before Christmas. Kind of like Christmas vacation at school, right? Kind of similar thing. Allows units to kind of like take some time to go on these trips and go visit family because you're away from home. Well, so we did the Christmas party. Well, then Lori's family, though, they are going back home to Ohio for Christmas.
Okay.
And I met Lori's parents in like October, actually, out. And when they were, maybe it was September, October, they came out. And we all were out on Sapelo Island, and I met their family. But that's it. I met them one time.
Okay.
And but they're going back to Ohio for the one Christmas, and then what's going to happen is everybody's coming back to her aunt's house for Christmas Day.
Okay.
So she's gone. I got unit stuff I'm working on, and so anyways, while she's gone, I don't know. I get these and I can just focus. I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I drove all the way to Atlanta. I woke up on a Saturday. I got up real early because I got there when the mall opened in Atlanta, Georgia. Because I remember there was some people like trying to get in line for this Santa Claus. I guess there's this incredible Santa Claus at the one mall in Atlanta. And I get in there and I go to Tiffany's. And I get into the Tiffany's and I buy Lori an engagement ring. Why she's at Tiffany. So I drove 4 hours to get there. I go right in. I'm like, this is the one. I buy the ring.
You knew the size and everything.
Yeah, I got lucky, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I drive straight back to Savannah. So now I got the ring and everything. And so she comes back home. She doesn't know anything. I've got Christmas morning comes, and then we've got everybody there. We got her grandmother, her uncle, her aunt. Her aunt lives in Savannah. That's where the big Christmas morning is. And I remember the night before, I've got the ring in my pocket in the blue.
Are you nervous at all?
No.
Had you guys talked about it?
No, zero. Yeah. But, I don't know how to explain it. We didn't talk about it. I don't remember. She can correct me, but I don't remember really talking about it. We just kind of talked like this was our life was now together always. Like I never, I think you could just tell because the way we talked, there was no end, I guess. Right.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It was just kind of knew it in a way. And so I just remember that night then putting the ring down inside. Her mom's like, hey, do you got anything for her stocking? And I'm like, yeah, I got something for her stocking. Anyways, so I do remember being upstairs and
did the parents know?
They did not know. So I take this. I remember I was upstairs and I take the ring and I put it all the way down in the toe of her stocking. And I kind of did it in a real quick way. And then I hand it to her mom. And because stockings were really big in this family. I mean, they still are.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I didn't have stockings. I barely had, but like we did stockings, but they were just different.
Yeah.
These stockings are a really big deal in the family.
Yes.
So her mom makes, like I now have my own stocking that her mom handmade, which is awesome. Her mom hand makes all these stockings. So anyways, we got the stocking, got it in there, go to bed. We wake up the next morning and now it's Christmas morning. And I do though, go and grab her dad, and we're in the kitchen, and I say, "Hey, Fred." No, it's like, well, this is gonna happen, but I did want to make sure I did at least kind of, And I said, "Hey, Fred, I just want to let you know
I'm gonna marry her anyway. Either way,
yeah, there's no going back now unless we get this get this out of here." But there is a ring in Lori's stocking, and I'm gonna ask her to marry me. And he just smiled and was like. That I think because I don't know how you would react, right? Because it's like, there's no turning back, but he was, you know what? He's a retired colonel from the Army.
Okay.
And, I'm here, I am a captain. And we just really bonded pretty quickly and easily. And, he just said, I'm proud, make me proud. I'd be proud to have you as a son-in-law, basically. Gave me a hug.
Wonderful.
It wasn't a fast event, right? But it was an event where, he accepted that this is, not accepted that it's going to happen, accepted that, hey, I'm going to be part of the family and was happy with that. So
what happened?
So then we go out there and unfortunately we don't have this, even though her uncle he was camcorded and all kinds of stuff. Right. And we don't have this part, but so then it's stocking time. And I remember, I'm just sitting there kind of watching and Lori's there and Lori's sitting on the ground and, she's got the stocking and she reaches into the stocking. She's going through everything and she finally gets, and she reaches, I'm watching her and she reaches and she's at the toe of the stocking and she feels the box, right? And I remember she's just got her arm in the stocking, her hand on the box. And she kind of then all of a sudden could tell
what this is,
what this box, like the shape of the box. I don't know.
How do women know this?
I have no idea, but she's just looking at it and she's like, are you kidding me? Like you could tell and again, I don't know what's
She's looking right at you.
Right at me. And she's just like, is this for real, right? And she pulls out the box and she just stares at it, right? Now, again, I guess I should be nervous. I don't remember feeling nervous.
Yes.
It's
a box. There's only one thing that comes in a box that size.
Yeah, and it's wrapped in now the blue Tiffany box, right? And she pulls it out and she holds it, right? And she just looks up at me like again, like this really, and then not a negative really, like a positive, happy really, which is good. But her whole family's there. Her grandmother, her aunt, her uncle,
everybody's
her
shocked. Everybody's
one brother wasn't there, but everybody's there, just doing their stocking stuff. And this is all going on, right? It isn't like I announced.
No, everybody stops and looks. No.
I don't know if anybody. I don't think anybody.
Obviously, the uncles didn't record it.
No, yeah, I should have told them, but
yeah.
Anyways, she undoes the bow, opens it up, takes the lid off, and she turns it upside down to get the ring box out. The ring box is it's that baby blue, like we're wearing almost the Tiffany blue. Yeah. It's greenish blue, and then the box itself, the ring boxes are a dark blue. So she dumps it out, and it falls into her hand is a piece of charcoal.
What happened to the ring box?
Yeah, so she just that's what falls into her hand, and she takes that charcoal and she just throws it at me, and she calls me a jerk.
Rightly so.
Yeah, right. And then at that point, right, I walk over and I stand her up and I pull out of my pocket the real ring box, and I get down on one knee and I ask her to marry me. And of course, fortunately after that, I just sent her on an emotional roller coaster, I guess.
Yes.
That's the way to do it, so you get a yes. But anyways, she says yes. And it's funny because her grandma is standing in the background, love Martha. And she's just like, what's going on? Like, you can tell she was completely confused. People are kind of like now realizing what's happening. I'm sure some people missed it. I don't know.
Yes.
But her grandma, I just remember hearing her grandma like, what's going on? What's going on? Yeah. And what's happening? What does this mean? And then and I remember hearing Liz being like, well, Jeremy just proposed to Lori. And anyway, so big hugs, big tears.
All right, so I got to ask,
big happiness.
Did your roommates? Did you ask them about the coal idea?
No, zero.
Nobody.
I don't even know if they knew I was getting engaged, to be honest with you. If I don't, I kind of that way. I am a person.
The coal was all your idea.
All my idea. Yeah.
And would you do it again?
Yeah, absolutely. I would have got a better.
That's piece so of mean.
It's not. It was great. It makes for a great story.
Well, it makes for a great story, but Lori, poor Lori.
Oh, she loved it.
Oh, she loved it. Can we get it?
Yeah.
Wow. And so how long till the wedding? And I know we're not in 2002.
Yeah. So, you think we met in July, and here it is December, and we're now engaged. And then, so honestly, then her mom asked me and said, hey, when do you want to get married? And I remember saying to them, hey, look, we can get married tomorrow. I'm ready. That by me giving the ring, that means I'm ready to get married. So if we want to get married tomorrow, next week, 6 months from now, whatever it is, that's what that means. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay. So,
when did you call your parents, your family?
Well, I don't know.
They didn't know ahead of time.
Well, interestingly, my mom and I, at this point in our relationship, we actually weren't speaking to each other. Really.
Okay.
So we weren't talking to each other. It's kind of crazy how that works out, but yeah. And then I don't know when I told my dad. Again, I lived in some ways. I would, as I went through this life, I lived kind of independently, right?
Yes.
And that's the way that was. So
yeah.
But yeah, with them, I mean, her mom and her aunt. So her aunt, plays the flute and plays in weddings, and her mom and both of them have planned. I don't know if they were wedding planners or her aunt was a wedding planner, or it was her aunt, because she had books. And I'm going to tell you, they had this wedding planned by that night.
Wow.
By that night, they had everything kind of like what they were going to do, how it was going to work. And so you figure that's December 25th, and we got married March 23rd. So, they worked hard. And that week, they went and found the dress that week because they're all in Savannah. Yeah. They all went and they found the dress and everything. And yeah, we were on the move, and it was time to go.
Yeah, so a date was set. And
yeah, we didn't have time. We had the war coming, so yeah. Yeah, but a date was set. I don't remember.
So just one quick peek into 2002. When did you get married?
March 23rd.
And when did you deploy?
I wouldn't deploy, though, until January of 03.
Of 03. Okay,
yeah.
so it wasn't right away.
Yeah, but the dates were unknown. Yeah, it shifted and shifted and shifted and shifted. So,
my. Okay, let's do a little wrap up. What life lessons in those 4 months can you?
Let's start with you. What life lessons do you have for that year, since it was such a big year?
Well, the only thing I would add to the last, there was 9/11, and you were helping the church go through it. But then, sometime in the beginning of December, our close friends, who he and I were roommates in college, our two wives were roommates in college. We got engaged the same year, got married the same year, had our first babies the same day. And this was our 15th anniversary. And so the four of us went on a cruise in early December of 2001. Nice. And we surprised our wives, and I officiated their 15-year re-up.
Wow, nice.
We call it renewal of vows.
Renewal of vows.
Just a re-up, and then he officiated ours on the deck of the boat.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's a memory I have, the happy memory from that second half. Yeah. Well, lessons to learn from that year is that people need to process crazy stuff that's happening in the world around them. And it's good to create environments where people can talk about it.
Yeah.
And that it's okay to still have some joy in your life. And even though crazy's happening, and it sounds like similar things for you. What would you add?
Yeah, I think for me, when I think about what I learned from 2001, right, and I guess it's a common theme, is things are going to happen, right? They're unpredictable. Unpredictable things are going to happen.
Yes.
And when that happens, you can shut down, right? And you can run away or you can do whatever. But the reality is at least for me, is your reaction, right? I hate, it's almost like this happens, an event happens, and you have the reaction, or ER equals O, right? That's not that. I didn't make that up. That's stolen from Urban Meyer, and I think he got it from another guy. But what your reaction to things, and that reaction for me is one. And it's like this now. Is one, faith, right? Remind yourself that God is in control,
right?
And it's going to be okay regardless. But then the second part of that is just keep moving forward again. You've heard me say that so many times. And, 9/11 is a big deal. Yes. What happened that year was a big deal. But we definitely then began to move forward. And again, that would change my life. And I would have to go through quite a bit of difficult things from that point forward. And not that I didn't go through difficult things before, but in every single case we got to move out. And we've got to be, and when we move out, we got to prepare to move out. And then the other side of that is you can do all that if you have good people around you.
Yeah.
If you got good people, when you build, like you were saying earlier, I forget how you put it, but when you surrounding yourself with good people, I guess you said that when we were in the pool earlier. But having the right people around you, having the right battle buddies, the right wingman or wingwoman, whatever it may be, having your people around you help you get through. And I think this is something that's important because people isolate themselves now. And that's not what life is about. Life is about us being together. And building community and friendships. And then you gotta put into them. You put into those relationships and those friendships, and of course they're gonna put back into you. And that was super critical through that whole year and actually my entire life. So I came out of that with some unbelievable battle buddies that year,
right? Who
I still have great friends. I'm still good friends with, and I've got a great wife out of that year, even though a lot of tragedy. I mean, there are people who lost families and fathers, sisters, mothers, you name it. They died that day. Yeah. And we'll never forget, though. We will never forget. We'll never forget, and hopefully, we can honor them. And I used to say this at Memorial Day when I would do Memorial Day services, is I think it's important. Like, let me put it this way: if I'm going to die one day, and again, but if I died in service, and I guess technically I am in service, I want people to go and enjoy the freedoms that I work so hard, not only for myself, but for everybody to have. You see what I'm saying? That's the thing I want. I don't want people, I want you to celebrate Memorial Day. You know what I mean? I want you to enjoy it. Yes. Should we remember? Absolutely. We should remember. But I also want you to go enjoy the freedoms that you've been given, right? Because that's what I want for my children. My goal isn't that my children, say I pass away, that they sulk and are upset or whatever. I want them to say, you know what? I'm thankful that this is what my father did for me. Well said. Well said.
Well, what an episode it has been. And when 9/11 happened, I just know that we were praying not only for our president, but for all of those that he was going to ask to give their all.
Yeah.
And I didn't know you.
No.
But in a sense, we were praying for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And thank you for...
Yeah.
Fear is... We'll talk about it in a different episode. Fear is real, but how you respond to it, how you face it, is different for people. And you were emotional about first responders.
Yeah.
But you were also a responder. And you were training and getting ready for that day. So thank you.
No, I appreciate it. And like I said, you never think about all the people that are praying for you.
Yeah. And we both wore our America.
Yeah, we did not coordinate the shirts or the hats.
We don't have the staff to do that yet.
Yeah. One day.
Anyway, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
And we'll see you again next time. Where's the DeLorean taking us next?
Next time we are going back. We're going back.
Okay.
To 1980.
1980.
Yeah, 1980. What a year, too. So, yeah, we'll be back at 1980. And so, anyways, we hope you tune in and enjoy it. And I don't know if you have any last...
No, was I supposed to?
No. I usually wait for you to say something about being unpredictable or predictable.
Well, this episode, there's a lot of life that's unpredictable. But stay unpredictable.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
All right. Take care. Bye.